said yes. Okay, I'm going to call the December 4th, 2024 meeting of the Municipal Building Commission to order at 5:30 p.m. For the record, we have Jerry Freecott, Jay Allard, Gail Clark, Terry DeSisto, Ed Stanton, Jackie Romanicki, and myself. Therefore, we have a quorum. I'm going to deviate from the agenda slightly to take a few things out of order. First up is the Water Department. Courtney.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm going to start with an update on Pawtucket, as usual. Again, like last month, the electrical drop is done to the site. Final electrical work is being completed this week. Continuing work on SCADA integration so that we can see the station from the plant. Again, this has been expedited due to drought and water levels. Our original end date was early next year, and we have it into, actually, I'll give you the schedule right now. We're working to get startup testing, starting tentatively on December 10th, which is next Tuesday. And what that is basically we start the pumps, we start the analyzers, all the equipment, get it running, and we pump the water to waste with just water through the chemical pumps with no addition from us. So it would be treated water just from Pawtucket. Excuse me, that has to go for 5 days. If that goes well, at the end of the 5th day, we can actually start filling the chemical feed systems and get that running through and basically get the DEP inspection. Actually, right now, for the DEP inspection, I'm started working with DEP, and I should finish it up tomorrow, finishing a sampling plan for after the station comes online. So it would be weekly to monthly samples for certain parameters in the system. And we actually had to do this several years ago, basically to prove what the water in that part of the system looks like without Pawtucket running, and then there'll be a comparison between the two. So once we have the DEP inspection, there is some sampling we have to do. We have to bacteria test the site. We do that internally. And again, you know, it's a delivered brand new station, so everything has to be disinfected. Bacteria, again, internally, so it only takes us about 24 hours to get the sample results back. The other samples we're required to take are secondary contaminants. When you get into secondaries, it's non-toxic metals like iron, manganese, there's chloride, sulfate, basically non-regulated, but to see what's there type of thing. Perchlorate and PFAS. DEP is okay with us with just the passing bacteria sample, as long as the passing, and then we can start up while we're waiting for results from the other samples, which I'm comfortable with. Pawtucket also does test for all of these things, with the exception of perchlorate, which, I mean, perchlorate is a byproduct of gunpowder and fireworks, so it's not something that we're mandatory usually to sample in December. It's usually purposely right after the 4th of July. So that passing back...
What happens to the water that you're pumping then before we're allowed to use it?
We actually do have to pump it to waste. And this gets into the same thing when we have to exercise the sample in the station and make sure everything works quarterly once everything is complete. So again, it's basically going to go to site. We'll dechlorinate it.
And we have to pay for it?
We do have to pay for it.
Well, we need it, so it's a cost of doing business, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So the passing bacteria test can get us running tentatively. The earliest would be December 16th, and that's if everything goes according to plan. So that is Pawtucket.
Any questions? Okay.
I actually do. How much water do you have to run through? Like how many gallons has to go through
Yeah,
the
we
test?
don't have to run it full bore the entire time. Basically, we will have to make sure both pumps ramp up to 1 million gallons a day and everywhere from 0 up to there. That's gonna be dependent on DEP, what they wanna see, but we don't have to blast 1 million gallons a day out of a hydrant for sure. So it'll be as low flow as allowed.
Thank you.
And you can't like capture that in a water buffalo truck and take it somewhere else and use it, right?
We cannot. We cannot. If we could, I would.
Throw it in the reservoir.
Okay. Any other questions? Wading River then, I guess, is next.
Okay, I'll start with the temporary. The temporary, it's status quo. Like I said last month, we're waiting on delivery of the PFAS vessels. We're expecting delivery right around Christmas. Once those are delivered and installed, we should have the resin in place and start up testing in January and start up in early February. So that's about, I think that's exactly where we were last month.
Yeah. Okay, good. Any questions on that? All right, permanent.
Permanent, design plans and specs were sent to DEP before the October deadline for SRF funding. We've received a couple comments from DEP, nothing really major. One of them was a question about the generator. We have spec'd a diesel generator because there is no gas in the area. DEP is not huge on diesel. So basically was their question, is there gas available? And the answer is no. That was a quick and easy. We've had calls with both them and with Tater and Howard on the placement of turbidity analyzers for compliance purposes. So anything that they've asked so far, it's been pretty minor things and, answered with a quick email. Internally, we're looking at, odds and ends, like, lab supply, brand of lab supplies that we like to buy, what brand of beakers and benchtop instrumentation and that sort of thing, furniture, hand tools that'll be needed for the plant. For the bid schedule, we're looking at plans and specs available January 8th, with sub-bids due February 5th and bids due February 19th. And I have been working with Mason on getting everything ready to advertise for the OPM. So bear with me. We expect to finalize that this week with ads to run basically no later than December 19th.
So with the responses we do at our first meeting in January?
The responses will be due Monday, January 13th. Mason has a tentative schedule for February 5th, if that works for NBC.
So if the bids come in on the 13th of January, that's after our next meeting.
Yes.
And then we'll have to do a short list and decide who to interview. Is he saying that would happen at the February meeting?
Basically, if we end up with more than just a few,
Well, if there's
we would
three,
have to
if there's
shortlist.
three, we'll just interview all three. But
Right.
if there's 8, we have to shortlist.
we have to shortlist before the February 5th.
So we'll do that on February 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, and that puts us with an executed contract with the OPM no later than March 14th.
Okay, so we'll be busy in February.
We'll all be busy in February.
Okay. One other question I thought of while you were speaking, with regard to the generator, is it possible to use propane instead of diesel, and does that make any difference?
It makes a little bit of difference. I'd asked the same thing because when we did Luther a few years ago, we have a propane generator there. The answer was basically the size and the actual fuel that we would have to put through for propane to run the plant for an extended period of time just really wasn't practical compared to diesel.
Okay.
And we've seen that at Luther too, when we've had to actually use the generator there. It goes through propane like you wouldn't believe, like a delivery every few days, and that's just basically 2 pumps there.
Okay. You have anything else?
I don't think so. The only other thing I do want to mention, with the projected timeline with everything due with the bids for the permanent plant, we're looking at a construction timeline starting next August to September, once everything's awarded.
And finishing it sometime in 27.
Sometime late in '27. Again, we're going to be, lead times have started to come down on a lot of these things, obviously not the PFAS vessels yet. But lead times have started to come down, but even if they're long, in the meantime, there is a lot of site work involved, so.
Any tariff issues potentially on the horizon?
I hope not. I really hope not. You know, most of what we deal with is made in the States, which is a good thing for us right now.
That was the steel they sent to Cal.
I just remember when we did the high school that the steel that was made in Alabama was shipped past us north to Canada to be fabricated, and then
came
shipped
back.
back, and they wanted to charge us a 10% tariff, and we had to get the congressman involved in order to avoid that. So it just was something that struck me.
Please don't scare me.
It's a scary situation.
It is.
Okay, any questions? All right, then, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will, I'm thinking
Pay those bills.
maybe, well, yeah, I guess give us an update on the 5th of January, or whatever the date is, January 8th.
Okay.
And then after the bids come in, we should confer as to how many there are and what procedure and scheduling we'll need to do.
Okay.
Okay?
All
You
right,
can do
great.
that through Brooke and Mason to me, and I'll make sure that Brooke keeps the commission advised as to what's going on.
Okay, great.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good holiday if I don't see you all.
Thank you,
Two.
you too.
I'd like to go next to Willett. Is Anjanette with us?
I am. Give me 1 second. How are you?
Good, we're doing fine. Can't see you, but we can see your name.
I know. I'm trying to get my video. It won't click on. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
there you
How's
are.
that?
Okay, Anjanette, what do you have to tell us?
Okay. Good to see you guys. So there's just I guess the big update is that the work is 100% complete over at Willett. It was completed on November 20th. We did have our OPM rep there, Jerry, and so he made sure that everything was complete. He had actually walked with Andy Barr from Socotec prior to the final installation of the expansion joint to do a punch list walkthrough. And so there was just a couple of little items, one of which was a caulk joint. Jerry made sure that everything was done, so the project is 100% complete. We do have one final change order that we're looking for approval for tonight, related to an expense for a lift that was required. They originally thought that they might be able to install the expansion joint from a lar, but it just proved to be too high of a safety risk. So we thought it best for them just to get the lift. They had to demobilize and get the lift off site the last time they were there. And just because it took so long for the expansion joint to come in, it was less expensive to bring the lift back for 1 day than to keep it there and wait for the expansion joint to come in. So we would like to, get approval for that change. That would be the last change order for the subcontractor, and that is if you want, I can go through it right now and let's see if I can
Yep.
share my screen.
Yep, please do.
Okay. Okay, just confirm you can see it.
Nope.
Now
Yeah.
we can.
Okay. So, the total for the, cost of the lift for the rental for the day was $1,090.89. I had him actually provide me with the invoice from the rental company. So the grand total was, there's a delivery and a pickup charge as well as an environmental charge. which is standard. So it's $930, which is in line with, what lifts go for. The only additional charge for that is he's entitled to a 15% markup and then his bond, which, these are the breakout of those values there. So the additional charge was $1,090.89. So we're hoping to get an approval on that change order. And if that's approved, then I can ask him to, submit, a final rec for the work performed, which will include this change order after it's executed. And then we'll have another, I think we do have another final rec for the retainage. So there'll be 2 recs, and those will not be issued until January. In the interim, what we would like to do is I'll have, Andy from Socotec, I'll work with him. We'll put together all the closeout documents, warranties, all that kind of stuff. I'll get it over to Brooke and Mason, so they have that in hand prior to receipt of their final invoices. And then similar to what we did when we did the actual roofing project, at the end of their scope of work, we had 2 separate invoices. One was, again, for the completion of their actual work and any adjustments to their contract. I think they had a credit change order. And then we had a final one, which was the total release. And that is accompanied by all of the required paperwork for the closeout of their contract. Does anybody have any questions related to the change?
I got a question, Anjanette. Why,
Sure.
why are we being billed for the lift? Why isn't that on the contractor?
Because the expansion joint was an add. It wasn't originally part of their scope of work, and it wasn't actually added until they had already started their work, and then with the lead time and whatnot, they weren't able to get it on site to be installed while they actually had their lift there. So it was just, again, it's a safety issue. They weren't able to use a ladder to reach the heights necessary safely to make the installation. And so we had discussed this earlier. I know Mason was aware of it, that there was a possibility. And I thought I had made mention of that this would be like the last potential change for this part of the project. And again, it all comes down to just the safety, and it was just the ease of application for them as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anjanette, the change order is in the package that Brooke gave us, but I didn't see it in the documents for me to sign. Do you know where the original is? Is that still coming?
I sent it over to her.
Well,
So I can follow up with her,
I can stop
but I
by.
believe,
I can stop by tomorrow at some point to sign it if need be, so that's okay.
Okay.
So you need a vote to approve change order number 3?
that is correct.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second?
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so good news, another project successfully completed.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Anything else that you have?
The only other thing is we do have, I have the Skanska invoice, and it was received after our last meeting, and it was for the work, it was our OPM services through October, I believe the 18th. And so that was for the time Mike was out there, they were out there full time, so I wasn't able to capture it at the last meeting. And so that was just for our full-time services. I have the dates here, it was through October 13th, so it would have been from September through October, and that is in the amount of $14,130.
Yes, that is in the package. That was a late addition, I think, so it's not on the
Right.
agenda, but that is in the package, so
Right.
I'm gonna add here to approve the Skanska invoice. Okay, good. And She said there were two, so I want to make sure. Let's see. So I've got
Should have just been the one for Skanska.
yeah, no, she said there were two things, so I think there might be an additional Tata and Howard bill here as well, so I'll take care of that
Okay,
later.
sure.
All right,
Okay.
so,
And then, just like I said, our expectation is to have a final invoice for Socotex, got a little bit of an outstanding balance. We'll have our final invoice and then the two final invoices for the sub, at the January, I believe the next meeting's January 8th.
yes, it is.
Oh, right. So we'll have everything wrapped up and complete by January 8th.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions for Anjanette? All right, then, thank you, Anjanette, and we will see you. Have a good holiday, and we'll see you in January.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Down the other new one is the Attleboro Pawtucket one, so I'll
Which one's that?
take care of that. And the scan school, I'll take care of both of those. All right, Heather, you're next.
That was quick. You guys are fast. So I'm Heather Whitehead, and I am on the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. I reached out, actually just about a day ago. I think Jack was really fast at getting back. So we're trying to reach out to all the boards and commissions with a few questions. I did send over a quick slideshow that the Barrett Group had made for us, just a little bit about what the comprehensive plan is. One of the members on the comprehensive plan is meeting with the school committee, and they wanted like a little slideshow, so I just sent it to every board, so that way you all had it. I did see that Brooke sent it out to everybody, so if you didn't get a chance to look at it, you definitely can. Do you know what the comprehensive plan is?
I do, but perhaps for the hundreds of people out there in our listening
Sure.
public, you could explain.
So, the comprehensive plan is a long-term 10 to 15-year plan. Its purpose is to guide the growth, change, understanding and determining how best to address local needs, working towards the best possible future for Attleboro. The existing plan was written in 2012. It is typically divided into chapters, as ours is. And it articulates a vision for the future, a basis for future decision-making, summarizes current conditions, identifies critical planning issues, provides recommendations, and an implementation plan. So the real reason we're trying to meet with all the boards is to get some idea of what the boards in Attleboro think the future of Attleboro should look like, and to help us finalize our comprehensive plan.
Okay, so let me say, and I did run this by Gary earlier today or yesterday, one or the other. We are not a policy-making body. We execute the projects that the mayor assigns to us. And so, in my opinion, it would be inappropriate for us to say we should or shouldn't build a police station, or we should or shouldn't build a council on aging. That's not our role.
Right.
And so it seems to me, however, that the people around this table, though, have a lot of experience in municipal government and are very connected to the long-term planning process. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that the building commission should not have an official position on this, but I would encourage all of the members as individuals to communicate their thoughts to Heather.
I would love that.
And that way, we would not be acting as an official body. Don't share your emails with the rest of us, because that could violate the open meeting law.
Yeah.
But I think that each of us may have some thoughts on the questions that she posed in the email that you may or may not have gotten, because you hopefully all got it. Jay found
It came from Brooke, but my email is on
But
there.
Jay found it in his junk email.
Oh.
And sometimes Jackie doesn't get emails,
Would
but
have come from you.
It came from Brooke. Actually, Brooke forwarded all the information yesterday. I emailed Jack, and Jack and Brooke took care of all of getting everything out to you. But my email is on there, but it is attleboro.sum@gmail.com.
and so, again, I would encourage you to share your thoughts with Heather so that the planning board can understand.
Yeah, we're just trying to get community opinions, so there is a survey going on also. If you don't mind, Jack, I will hand these out.
Sure.
This is just a survey that's going on for the comprehensive plan, residents, non-residents, everybody in the city can, we hope, will and can fill it out. And even non-residents, we're hoping that they'll take some time to fill out the survey. It's online until December 31st. And it will be on the city's website also. It's supposed to be on Monday. I actually haven't double checked that they got it up, but it's supposed to be on the city's website also, and it will be on their Facebook page also.
Why don't you give George one, too?
George has one, actually. I met with George last week. He got it before everybody, so we're
George
hoping
is
the Sun
always-
Chronicle will do
always
something
on
for
the
us.
cutting edge.
Yep. I got it to him last week, so.
Excellent.
George and AACS both have it.
Well,
so.
I want to thank you for your service on the planning board, and also thank you for bringing this to our attention and giving us the opportunity to respond.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great night.
You too.
Have a good holiday.
Okay, is Mark Zawatsky with us?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I am.
Good. We always save the best for last, Mark.
Well, as you complete these projects, we'll rise up on the list of agendas, so looking forward to it. Anyway, I'd like to, the project we're going to be discussing is the Attleboro Public Library and the flooring replacement project. Please recall that we went through a robust procurement process. We interviewed selected LLB architects of Pawtucket and Woonsocket, and they are in attendance this evening, although they're all blacked out currently. Also, Amy Rillinger is with us. And I wanted to let you know that the contract was signed in early November. And throughout the month of November, the LLB team has been out at the library taking field dimensions and creating plans and coming up with a schematic design deliverable, which was reviewed with representatives of the city, Amy and myself yesterday, and distributed to you through Brooke. And I wanted to, but before I turn it over to Brian, Jessica, and Angela, I wanted to let you know that the DD or design, the designed DD package will be available along with all the cost estimates and a complete package prior to going out to bid in mid-January. And I know that your February docket is filling up. We're talking about it. And I wanted to ask you whether or not a January 22nd special MBC meeting would be possible for LLB's overall comprehensive presentation, so that we could stay on schedule and go out to bid for moving and for flooring per the schedule, so that we can be complete by September of 2025.
Yeah,
Lots
so
on
that
Take
actually,
any
that
questions.
date works out very well, Mark, because our regular meeting is on the 8th, and we have a potential school building committee meeting on the 15th. So therefore, I'm going to say that email Brooke and tell her to schedule the meeting for the 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate it.
Jack, I am on vacation that week.
I do want to say, before we jump into it and turn it over to LLB, I want to indicate that LLB thus far has been a high-functioning team. They have included Amy and the library team, their board, and the city in an extremely comprehensive fashion, and I've enjoyed the process thus far, and I wanted to let the commission know that so far so good. The process has been going smooth. I know you asked for this type of feedback with new vendors to the city, and I just wanted to give them that atta people. I know I can't say atta boy or atta girl anymore. I have to say atta people or atta they. So so far so good, and I'd like to turn it over to LLB so that they can show you the schematic design and the conversations they've had with the city and the library team.
Okay, go right ahead.
Hi everyone. Thanks so much, Mark, for your comments. I am Angela Olson, an interior designer with LLB. I'm this project's project manager. Also here with us is our principal in charge, Brian Valentine, and interior designer Jessica White. Mark addressed a couple items to recap you on where we've been. LLB and the library has also uncovered the existing mosaic tile that's on the second floor. It looks to be in great shape with some work that we'll have to do to remove the adhesive to refinish it and apply a new finish in that space. We are working with Hazmat to get their team on site to sample, preferably on a Thursday morning when the library is closed to the public. We are also working to get the move manager meeting scheduled. She is currently working overseas. We hosted a meeting, as Mark addressed, at our office to review the SD presentation and discuss the available options for floor finishes. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Share.
It's
All
starting.
right, can everyone see?
No. Yes.
Now we can.
Huh? Okay,
Yes.
great. First is just the table of contents, running through what we're going to be reviewing. We included some existing photos, just a reference of all the levels. This sheet is our scope of work for floors 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have a key plan off to the right, just to address what floor finishes are currently in these spaces. We did discuss changing a couple areas, which will come in the DD package. Our design concept for this project, we wanted to utilize the library's logo, bringing geometrical design into the floor finish, whether it's pattern or the layout. And jumping into the carpet options we proposed. To the left is a bar that indicates what manufacturer we're using and the collection, the specifications, testing of these materials, and the sustainability. We indicate some install pricing below. And option 1 is from Shaw Contract. It's their teamwork collection. Within this collection, it has 4 different styles. So some of the geometrical patterns are a bit larger in scale. Some are very small. Some is more of like a solid looking pattern. Has great colorways. We discussed utilizing different colors per floor level as a wayfinding technique, which we can develop in our DD package. The second option was also from Shaw, their configured collection. This also has 4 different styles. This is a little bit more expensive, so we discussed utilizing this perhaps in the children's library space. Very fun collection, a lot of great colors.
When you say this is more expensive, why?
More expensive than like your standard, like $20s, $30 a square foot.
Why would you, though, be proposing it for the children's area as opposed to anywhere else?
It does have more durability factors. You'll probably see the tufted weight is 22 ounces. So this is not only visually appealing and fun for the kids, it's a little more durable for them.
Mr. Chairman, if I may interject here, we're going to be developing a matrix of the recommendations that the library team and the board select that show the price and overall cost configurations in the DD package. We're also going to be developing the phasing plan with the library staff and team. And then finally, we're going to be developing a list of alternates. And between those three sets of documents, within that package, we look forward to providing you a solution or an array of solutions that the MBC can chime in on relative to cost within the overall project budget. Obviously, we understand we're trying to do this in a cost-sensitive manner, but also we're looking at durability, and we're also looking at the aesthetics and the functionality and the appeal to the community. So there's a lot to unpack there, and you're going to have your bite at the apple to, in terms of looking and questioning all of those things. But I thought casting a wide net, allowing the library group to explore the options available to them, and then finding the sweet spot on cost would be the most appropriate way. So that was the rationale behind it, and I'm sorry for interjecting into your...
No, I think it was important to state, and I think we all are aware that the three factors you mentioned are the three factors we always have to balance: cost, durability, and aesthetics. We always need to be mindful of all three. So thank you for putting that in, Mark.
Great. You're welcome.
Go ahead, Angela.
Yeah, no problem. Option number 3 is from Mannington. So again, more of that large scale geometrical patterns with some smaller scale, as well as a linear option. We discussed maybe using the large scale pattern within the stack space of the library, and then the smaller scale or linear throughout the main walking corridors.
There's also
if
I can, there's also a fourth factor that we probably should mention, which is keeping it clean or making it look clean. Because I'm sure that if we put white carpeting in, it wouldn't be white for very long.
Of course.
And so I think we also have to be mindful of, the cleaning staff and what kind of job they're able to do to maintain whatever we put down, right?
Absolutely. Yep, and all of these options have a solution, 100% solution dyed nylon. Which is the best fiber you can get for a commercial.
Okay, keep going.
This collection also comes in other great colorways. Option number 4 is from Mohawk Group. It's their Learn and Live collection. Has 3 different styles within this collection that you can see. The geometrical pattern, more of a linear. And then the option number 5, also from Mohawk, their color balance, a really fun, more of a solid linear look. But we discussed we could create more geometrical sections within the library and have a lot of fun accent colors. This could also be used for mainly the children's space if we wanted to go with a different carpet throughout the general library. We also discussed in our meeting switching and using other manufacturers for different spaces if we wanted to go with one of the Shaw options for the children's space and a Mohawk for the general library. We could definitely do that. Moving on to LVT options, keep in mind these other options I'm showing as a secondary for the library as far as floor finish renovations go. The priority is the carpet, but depending on our cost analysis, will determine if they can utilize other floor finishes that they need throughout the library, which includes new tiling in the bathroom, potentially new rubber flooring on the library's main staircase or elevator, or some other break room areas. So this option is from Pat Craft. It's their mark making collection, more of a linear look, but has a lot of great colorways. For those of you that don't know, I should have started with LVT stands for luxury vinyl tile, so it's that one level up from your VCT flooring that you would see in older facilities. Our option 2 LVT is from Mannington. It's their color anchor collection, another great linear. It's their stride styling. We installed this at a school last year pretty successfully, similar to the pattern that you see on the right side. And then we move into some floor finishing for porcelain tiles and ceramic wall tile for the restrooms, both from Doll Tile. And that concludes the schematic design presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question for Amy. Are you happy, Amy?
Yes, yes I am. I will echo Mark's sentiments. It has been a pleasure working with the team. Yesterday's meeting was overwhelming. The conference table up here on the 4th floor of the library is full of carpet and tile samples. And we've been through projects before, as you know, and very much aware that there's cost and durability and cleaning and aesthetics are all play a role in this. So I'm looking forward to looking at our choices and putting them in the matrix. I'm excited. We know it's a big project, but we're very excited about it.
Good. Will you be in person then at our meeting on the 22nd, which would be here, Angela?
That's the plan.
And you'll be bringing the samples with you that you want us to physically see?
Yep, once it's narrowed down, right now it is it's quite a large selection, so we do want to narrow it down a little bit.
Understood. Okay. And your staff is...
I got one more thing to add, Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
if okay. The last part of the schematic design presentation included some bathroom tile and other things. I want to reiterate, we're going to be creating a list of alternates, and as you know, during the procurement process, the order of those alternates is very important. So we'll be working with the library and their team to make recommendations for alternates and bring to the MBC a list of alternates in a sequential order, subject to your final review and approval. So I don't want you to, this project started out as replacement carpeting. We changed it to be replacement flooring because of the circulation desk, because of ADA, because of a couple of other areas where we didn't just have carpeting. But their job was to look at the library comprehensively and to go through it. And again, they've done that and are doing that. Air sampling, baseline air sampling will be done prior to the start of any work. That's going to occur in January. We're doing hazardous material testing. They're handling the design and protective covenants required for a project of this type. And that's why we're requesting that January 22nd meeting. because it is important that we compile all that information so that we present it all to you in a clear, concise, comprehensive manner. So thank you.
Oh, excellent. I don't remember that bathroom tile was part of the project. Is that something that you're suggesting we might add on?
Well, it's going to be budget oriented, and my predisposition at this point is to speak with Amy and the library group. My personal feeling is that it doesn't need to be, but it could be. So it's low, in my opinion, it's low on the list right now. We need to receive the ADA compliance, so we may need to change the rubber flooring on the stairs in the main stairway because it doesn't have a contrasting color that for sight impaired people. So there are some regulatory and statutory compliance things that would force us to do work that we might or that the city might otherwise not want to do or choose not to if it was just a replacement carpeting project. So to be continued. I don't want to say yes or no either way.
Will we need any filed subbids on this job?
We hope not, sir.
Okay. Because tile
we
and
will be
flooring.
buying moving services, move management through combis. So the RFQ for architectural services contemplated two procurements, one for moving services through combis, and then a single bid for carpeting through DCAM.
Okay. One of the issues that I have a vague memory of is that we were looking at whether we actually had to move all the stacks or whether bases could stay in place and we could work around them. Have we determined anything on that?
Brian, do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, the plan moving forward right now is to keep the stacks in place and possibly remove the lower shelf. We've done that on other projects, and we were able to get the tile as tight as we can underneath that shelf to look as seamless as possible. That would help tremendously with obviously the moving and de-installation, reinstallation of the shelving. It is always an option, and maybe it's something we can talk about with our cost estimator if the city is sincerely considering that.
And Amy, you're okay that we can protect the books with just removing the bottom?
Yes, we've done something similar, and it would be, I imagine it would be just rearranging things in the building for a short time.
Okay. And would we be phasing this?
And that's part of our overall phasing plan. We'll be working with Amy and Mark, to determine what work areas we can or she can physically handle, right? Within her daily operations. And so we'll be including that phasing plan within our bid documents so that all bidders have an even level of understanding of how many starts and stops they'll need to do. And so within that, I think working with the move manager as well, develop a plan where if those things need to move and relocate to an area of the library that may be underutilized for a short period of time, that some things can get stored there, that's an option.
Again, one of my vague memories is we had talked about the possibility of just shutting the library down for a week or 10 days as opposed to keeping it fully or 90% operational. So are we making the determination that we're not going to shut down, that we're going to keep the library 90% operational?
I don't think that determination has been made fully, but I will say that, for instance, the children's room can be separated or bifurcated. When you get up onto the large second floor or third floor stacks, what you could do is just do it in two separate mobilizations and have the flooring being done on one side with occupancy on the other. So it's really going to be a conversation with the library, and I think the preference is to keep it open, and that is what our primary goal is, or at least come up with an opportunity to keep it open and functional, just have certain areas that are off limits for a couple of days while the removal, prep, and reinstallation occurs. I think it's very doable, and we have the outline of a plan, and that's our number one objective. But we can always, fall back and evaluate what it would take, what the savings would be if any, to do it in a single phase with the library closed, which is less desirable for the community.
Yeah, again, we're always balancing things because.
Right, understood.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that either you or the architects need to present tonight?
Just want to asterisk that our other office is in Worcester, not in Woonsocket. So we have offices in Pawtucket and Worcester. Just clarifying, no harm.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, just finally, we will be in attendance also on January 8th, and if there are any interim reports, such as air quality testing or, hazardous materials or anything, we'll certainly update you as to the progress during the month of December. So that's all. We'll see you then.
Excellent. Any questions from the commission?
No.
All right, then, thank you. Happy holidays to all of you. We will see you in January. And then in the 10 minutes that we have left before the Conservation Commission takes over, we have some bills to pay. So I see we have a bill from Port, for the library for $18.75. Tata and Howard for Wading River. We have 4 bills, $137.7, $137.7, $42.80, and $53.50. And then we have 2 add-ons. We have the Skanska invoice for $14,130 and the Waterline Industries bill for $111,446.16, which is application number 12 for the Attleboro Pawtucket Interconnect. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bills. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Then I think that we have done what we need to do, and we have finished with 8 minutes to spare. So therefore, I'm going to suggest that a motion to adjourn at 6:22 is in order.
Move to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.